Hello, my hosts, and welcome to another editing stream. Today we are going to be editing, as you would expect. So let's get into that right now, as soon as I get find the correct. I always misplace the scene that allows me to show you what I'm doing in DaVinci Resolve. I should organize this. I often say. Okay. Uh, is this in any order? Okay. Yeah, you think so. Right. Okay. Should clean. Ah, here we are. All right, let's do it. Looks like I'm sitting on top of the timeline. Cool. All right. Nice space background. Yeah. It's a great space background. When I first created it, caused my computer to crash. That's not what I wanted. Let's get back. There, I'm going to need to go into open it as a timeline. Open in timeline. There we go. Call in lambda calculus that a Boolean works by having a function that returns its first argument if true. Okay, we're going to put some text on this to make it make sense. Why does that happen? Why is that something that's right next to open in Fusion page? Reset Fusion composition. In lambda calculus that a Boolean works by here add some text. Close you. Move you. I'll give you a bit more room. Let's rename this one because this is this square there. Got to call this bool graphic. Huh? Oh, I went and selected too many things. Okay. This one is F graphic. And this one is full graphic. Now expand that out. And at this point, let's go up. S. S text here. I'm going to say hyperlegible. Apply Boolean. Let's get this placed there and then shrink it so it fits in. There, hopefully that's nice and readable. And then have another thing here. F. S text. Okay. T and bottom. Oh. That's the wrong. I wanted the safe version of this. Just give me a second. That's not what I wanted to happen. I set up a different. That's the one I want. Okay. There. Now I'm not in danger of exposing stuff I want to keep private by accident. No, you weren't supposed to see that. Thankfully, there was nothing incriminating or dangerous there. Full Unicode. Copy that. There, and now we're going to find a Huh. That's fine, but that one doesn't look good. Let's try. Okay. Attack symbol Unicode. Okay, then down tack, aka T or top. There we go. All right. Huh? Why is it so much smaller than the other one? Huh? Let's try that one. There. Huh? Oh, it's a large down tack. All right, that's better. Weirdly enough, one gets displayed and the other one doesn't. What type of janky font is this? This. I wish I knew what font this was using. Because that seems to display everything. Okay, let's... Ah, here we go. Operator math. We want you to be black. All right, let's drop size down. Increase the line spacing. A little bit more. Oops. A bit bigger. Oh. I think black's not a good color for it though. It's not distinct that this is we should pay attention to this. I'm gonna go like that. Oh, hold on. No. There. Yep. I think that's a great suggestion. Let's try yellow and then red. Actually, even better. Let's go enable here. Character level styling. Select you. I set you to green. No. Yellow doesn't create much contrast against the white. Red gives good contrast. Okay. Character level styling here. We're going to need to set you to dark blue. So it's like, oh, that's interesting. Got the color selector window here, but it doesn't actually appear on the thing. Now it looks like hot and cold taps. I think that makes a sort of sense. And I'm going to switch that off like that. In works by having a function that returns its first argument. Hold on, this is at the wrong spot. So now we talk about the first argument. We say that. Go back. Yeah, function that returns its first argument if true, and it's stick it like that. Second argument. There. Apparently, truth is hotter than falsity. That makes sense because you're spilling the tea, and it's hot tea. Let's get rid of that keyframe there. All right. All right, let's see how that turns out. Let's drop back a bit, play back. A function that returns its first argument if true, and the second argument as false. We can then package this up. Oh, are we making sense here? Hold on. Into a new lambda function where our skull and cross. Ooh. Have I mentioned the skull and crossbones? Have I edited this wrongly? Let's go back here. Let's assume that some program written in lambda calculus that takes a lambda expression string and an argument to that lambda expression as a string that returns true if that combo halts and false otherwise. Let's call it F. Now, recall in lambda calculus that a Boolean works by having a function that returns its first argument if true and its second argument as false. We can then package this up into a new lambda function where our skull and crossbones is a lambda function that loops forever. Since star is a lambda, oh, okay. And this now start my in this we can then package this up. That second argument as false. We can then package this up into a new lambda function. Oh. All right, I guess we go here and we're going to add a skull and crossbones function. Feed that into false. Actually, feed that into true. This is going to be a separate one. Yes. Text. No, not test. S text plus. There it goes. All right. Skull and crossbows. Unicode. That's fine. Gonna do this again. Finding the font that supports it. I really want a really good font that supports all the nonsense I try to get away with and is readable. Georgia. There it goes. Ah. One skull and crossbows emoji. Well, that one's that's a very pirate skull and crossbones. I approve. Okay. Expand around there. Gotta watch anime for free. Yep. Or overthrow a corrupt regime. Why is that not? Shouldn't that be laid on top rather than? All right. Bring that in. Round it slightly. Actually, there. Now here's a trick. Even though the slider goes down to -5, I want to be in more, so I can go to -4, and suddenly there's more slider. I said suddenly there's more slider. Ah, okay. Would help if I understood mathematics and that -6 is actually greater than -4. Okay. And do I want that as the color scheme for that? Actually, I'm going to say red. And then the blue background, let's make it really dark. No, then you can't tell it's different from the... Yeah, now it still looks different from the background. Okay. We'll set up the animations for that in a second. Actually, let's run that through an S transform. There. Make a copy of you. That merge. No, it should be a merge. S merge. There we go. Now, oh, it's got 2 arrows. That's okay. Yep, we need the 2 arrows. Yeah. It's X. Okay, arrows, come with me. Get over there. I am irritated that the program has no native arrow primitive. And you have to sort of build one for yourself. Right? That's good. All right. What's the... How long have I been streaming for? About half an hour. Which suggests to me that I should take a break. All right, let's do a bit of a stretch. Huh? That's not the button I wanted. All right. All righty. Now, we also got this. This one we return 1. Oops. Drag a little arrow from here into here. Go down there. Now let's change the color scheme. Set that to blue. You will set to white. And that ring we will set to black. Hello, Jordan. We are doing quite well. And now we can set up the animations for these. So these all go through this transform here. So when we go as false, we can then package this up like that. So size 0, size 1, and go back. Let's see how that turns out. Okay, as false. We can then package this up into a new lambda function where our skull and crossbones is a lambda function that loops forever. Since I actually think, hold on, I have to do some more. Oh, oops, press the wrong button. I actually think the text here is wrong and is not clear when I say package this up. So what I'm going to do, let's go back to edit screen. Go to main. Here. Okay. First argument if true, and its second argument as false. We can then package this up into a new lambda. Okay, here, package this up like that. Oh. I use a red marker where I need to correct mistakes. I say package this up. That makes no sense. How about saying something like when... Oh, forgot heading return does that. We can then add 2 arguments, one cross, one a lambda expression that never terminates, this little which I am writing as skull and crossbones. This gets called for the true value. Also, we have 1 for the false value, just something simple that terminate. There we go. All right. Well, keep in mind we'll have to re-record that. Which means this section will get its timing all wrong, so we'll leave that till later. We'll go on to here and halts. But it was supposed to loop forever. In both situations, it gets the wrong result. So the only conclusion is that it is impossible to build such a function. And again, let's look back at our proof. We have a function that... Okay. So the only conclusion... All right. Now, can we get... Let's use this to highlight this. I'm going to put that marker there. In both situations, it gets the wrong result. So the only conclusion is that it is impossible to build such a function. And again, and here we go, and again, get an adjustment clip. Bring it out to here, I think. And we're going to write on this. Here. Merge, merge, merge. Text plus. Yeah. Got to learn what all of these nodes do at some point. I know a shockingly small number of them that I commonly use. The same word sounded very American. Oh, that makes me feel bad about myself. Look back at our proof. We have a function that allows self-description. Self-descriptive function. Let's and a function that does the opposite of its own inputs. Again, something that's only possible if that function does not have a fixed point. And function that does the no fixed point. There we go. Let's get our there. Let's switch you to text to make you black. Oh, there it goes. Just adjust the size slightly. Move it to maximize visibility. Okay. Look back at our proof. We have a function that allows self-description. Let's go like that. Back a little bit more. Okay, let's see how that turns out. Look back at our proof. We have a function that allows self-description and a function that does the... Let's put a spot there. Function that does the opposite of its own inputs. Again, something that's only... Get to that point. Move this little slider forward. Like there. Again, something that's only possible if that function does not have a fixed point. And move that forward like that. Okay. Let's see how this turns out. Look back at our proof. We have a function that allows self-description and a function that does the opposite of its own inputs. Again, something that's only possible if that function does not have a fixed point. In an upcoming video, I'm going to go over the consequences of the undecidability of the halting problem. However, there is a third limitation. All right. It's impossible to build such a function. And again, let's look back at our proof. We have a function that allows self-description and a function that does the opposite of its own inputs. Again, something that's only possible if that function does not have a fixed point. In an upcoming video, I'm going to go over the consequences of the undecidability of the halting problem. However, there is a third limitation to mathematics of the sort that I have been describing. Okay, let's go here. Let's break that. Select everything with Alt-Y. Move you forward a little bit. Okay, that one's coming up there. Because we are going to talk about Godel. On. All right. Packages. 3. Godel, I need to make the fancy O for Godel. O with umlaut. Oh, cool. That font supports that. The German O umlaut represents a closed, open front round vowel produced by shaping the lips into an O while trying to say E. U, E, U, E, Goodell, similar to the U in burn or the I in bird. Godell. Okay. I will pronounce it. Describing. There it goes. Alt Y. Drag this back. Mathematics is all about proof. There it goes. All right. I'm going to adjust you a bit. Let's get your background here. I love how powerful text plus nodes are. Extend vertical a little bit. So it looks better, and a bit of rounding. Really? There we go. Okay. Is that spelt correctly? Hold on. Oppistite. No, it's not. Eh. Damn you, Agraphia. Ah, there it goes. All right. Actually, it's more a dysgraphia than an agraphia, but agraphia means I can have silly puns on I am agraphic. Of course I am. I'm a VTuber. All right. There we go. Oh, my head's out of alignment. That's a bit weird. Or maybe it's just when I was looking at the side. But since we've gotten to another chapter, probably a great point in time to close off this stream. Let's get this done. That one? Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for joining me as I did some editing in DaVinci Resolve and did some effects adding. Tomorrow we'll be back to the little family in RimWorld, so I hope you can join me for that. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you all later. Bye-bye. Oh, I can wave bye-bye.